I'm going to record this, and so I can email it to you later if you want to do something. You know, if you want to show it to other people or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see my screen and the iPhone and everything else, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you some of the major pieces of the system. One major function of the system is that we have an app that allows the doctor to screen their own calls after hours because it tells them which patient's trying to call them. Has a patient chart summary, and documents the entire phone encounter, puts it back on the patient's chart. The other thing about the app is it can call the patient back on its own with instructions or send a refill and do other tasks where the doctor doesn't necessarily have to call anybody back. The second part of our system is we can either after hours or during the day, we replace anything to do with voicemail. Now, what that means specifically is that when people call in, we can categorize patient questions into 1 to 12 different categories, and we'll automatically transcribe what they're saying directly into patient cases so that it makes it super easy to manage. In other words, if a live person can't pick the phone up, we should pick the phone up because we're going to take down all their information, figure out who the patient is, and reduce the amount of work that you have to do to deal with any calls that didn't get handled by a live person, okay?
Okay.
There's a few other bells and whistles I could show you as well. But those are kind of the major pieces. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call into that 844 number. Can you see it next to my iPhone?
The what number?
There's an 844 phone number at the top. Yeah. Now, what we do is, excuse me, we give every practice their own dedicated phone number. We may give you multiple numbers depending on what you want to do, because each number can have a different set of behavior, a different set of prompts, and a different set of on-call schedules, or can do a variety of different things to help manage patient call workflow. And so I'll show you how that works as well. Now, when I call into that number, also keep in mind that 95% of everything you're about to hear can be customized for your practice. So, you know, we have a lot of customization options in our system that allow it to do exactly what you want it to do to help run your practice and run your business.
Mm-hmm.
Press 1 for English.
Presione 2 para español. Appuyez sur 3 pour français.
Please select an office. Press 1 for Prime Clinical Test Office. Press 2 for Athenahealth Test Office.
Welcome to Athenahealth Test Office. The office is currently closed. If this is a medical emergency, please call 911 or go to the nearest emergency room. If you are an existing patient or calling on behalf of an existing patient, please press 2 immediately to be helped. Please enter the patient's date of birth by using your keypad to enter 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year of the patient's date of birth. You have entered September 18th, 1963. If this is the correct date of birth, press 1. If not, please wait while we look up the medical chart for the patient. If you have an emergency and need to speak with the doctor on call, press 1. If you have a question about your schedule or to request or cancel an appointment or get directions to your next appointment, press 2. If you have a question about your bill, labs, insurance, or some other message for our office, press 3.
I'll explain those options more in a second. Let me press 1 to reach the doctor on call.
Would you like us to return your call to 310-561-8055? If yes, press 1. If no, please speak the patient's full name slowly and clearly. When done, press any key. Then you will be asked for more information.
Carl Silva.
Now, please leave a detailed message. Please speak slowly and clearly. When done, press any key.
So what this is going to do now is everything I'm saying is going to get transcribed into a patient case, and it's also going to get transcribed so that when it goes to the doctor's phone, they can see what I'm saying on the app.
Once the doctor or office has listened to your message, we will contact you at 310-561-8055. You will be receiving a call back from.
Okay. So first part, right? You get your phone number. You forward your calls to it just like you would any other call answering service.
Okay.
And when patients call in, they enter their date of birth. So it's basically think of it like a virtual front desk person. In other words, if I call your office and I say, I'd like to know my lab results came in or I need a refill, the front desk is going to say to me, okay, what's your date of birth, right? We just do the same thing. If there's more than one patient with the same date of birth, we'll prompt for the first 3 letters of the patient's last name. But the system you're looking at is currently in 34 states, and we handle 200,000 patient calls a month. And there's no patient training because there isn't. People just start using it. I mean, if you were to plug this in right now, today, I guarantee people would just start using it. I mean, it's 2020. You got a phone. You haven't remember when you were born. That's it. So once we've identified who they are, there's 3 things they can do. Now, if this was set to day mode, it would say press 1 to leave an urgent message for your doctor. And we would transcribe that into a clinical patient case and send it into Athena. I have it in after hours mode, which means that not only does it do the patient case transcription, but it's also going to send the information to the app. And we'll look at that in just a minute. Now, the second thing is somebody's calling in because they have a question about their schedule. Turns out that over 40% of any calls to any front desk in the country have something to do with the schedule. Do you guys allow any patients to do any appointment types through the patient portal?
They can't schedule appointments through the portal now.
No problem. So if I press 2 on the system we can set up for you, then it'll say press 1, request an appointment. We will transcribe that into an administrative patient case. Second thing they can do is they can cancel an appointment, and it will literally cancel their appointment. Now, don't forget, everything I'm saying is customizable, but it'll cancel their appointment in real time over the phone. It also behaves like your front desk does. So if they try to cancel an hour ahead of time, and you have a 24-hour cancellation policy, it'll say, I'm sorry, we can't cancel right now. Please call the office back directly. And the third thing they can do under scheduling is they can get their upcoming appointment information texted or emailed to them. So not only do we send them a text or an email with all their appointment information in it, but we also attach a hot link to Google Maps, which when they click on it, gives them step-by-step directions how to get to your office, okay?
Okay.
So first thing is urgent message for the doctor, either during the day or after hours through the app. I'll show you that in a second. Second thing is something to do with the schedule. And we try to put as much as we can in there. So if CallMyDoc answers the phone, there's a higher chance that it'll just take care of whatever they're calling about anyways, and you don't have to do anything. Then the third part exists so that when I press 3, it'll say press 1 if you have a billing question, press 2 if you need a refill, etc. What we'll do is we'll take the different questions they can ask and map them into one of the 12 patient case types that exist in Athena, so that those go directly from the patient's mouth into a patient case, and then those can be routed to whomever's supposed to deal with them. For example, at my wife's practice, we have one person who takes care of medical records and referrals. And so they get any questions that CallMyDoc transcribes go right to their inbox, okay? Now, when it comes to the app works equally as well with an Android or an iPhone. It doesn't matter which. As a matter of fact, if you had them side by side, the app would look exactly the same. And you could program what kind of notifications that you want to get and when you want to get them about calls. So I have mine set to flash the screen like apps do. I also have it set to text me, and I could also have it set to call me within 15 minutes or so, whatever I tell it to do, to remind me to open the app. So when I click on it, to bring this screen up because I'm in idle timeout mode. This is an extra layer of security so that people can't just pick your phone up and start looking at patient information. So when I put in my PIN code, it's not the app that's slow. My screen was a little bit slow there. That photo and name is pulled in real time from the patient's chart, and so it's matched in real time. We don't copy any data. We just pull it on demand into the app. So when I click on it, it's going to pull more information. And what it's going to present to me now is the patient photo and demographics, the message transcribed in the text at the bottom. And if the text transcription is a little funky, I can always play it. Everything I'm saying is going to get transcribed. This is different than what normally happens because I immediately know who's calling me and why they're calling me. I'm not going to get surprised at 2 o'clock in the morning. Then what you do is you swipe the front of the screen from right to left like you're rotating a cube.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm just waiting for the screen to catch up. Now I've got kind of a summary of the 3 most recent visits. I've got when they last came in, allergies, 3 most recent lab results, medications, etc. And then I swipe from right to left again. I hit take session because
So this will interface with Athena then?
the whole thing, yes. Everything I'm doing right now is interacting with Athena. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like at Athena once we get a little bit further along, okay?
Got it.
The reason why I hit take session is because that tells the system I'm going to work with this patient. And so when I hit close session, it'll document the entire phone encounter, put it back on the patient's chart. So if I want to call the patient, I hit this phone icon, then I hit this green bar. And it's going to call me first.
Please be patient. Connecting you with the patient or caller.
Then it's going to call the patient on a different phone line using the caller ID of your practice.
Hello, this is Athenahealth test office calling you back. The doctor would like to speak with you now.
We're connected. That goes just because both phones are in the same room. So it creates a conference bridge between you and the patient using the caller ID of your practice. But the thing is, because you can screen your calls, the other thing about this is that you can have the app call the patient back. In other words, if I click on add response, these are all the things the app can do on its own. And for instance, take care of a refill, send it to the pharmacy, update the patient's chart, and then call the patient back and tell the patient where to pick up the refill, and I don't have to talk to anybody. So I'm going to click on prescribe. Again, it's pulling the latest meds off the chart. I'll just pick one here. And then I could leave a note for the pharmacist. The other thing I can do is it pulls the patient's default pharmacy off their chart, but if I hit edit, I could actually search for and send it to any pharmacy in the country. So I'm going to save that response. I'm going to send some instructions back to the patient, call it back with instructions. I sent in your refill, but we haven't seen you in over 6 months. So please schedule a time to come in for a medication review. And then this little box at the bottom does not go to the patient. The little box at the bottom is for me to leave notes about what I did with this call or what I need people to follow up with the next day, etc. So this is just going to go into the CallMyDoc dashboard in the patient case.
Okay.
I sent in this patient's refill, but we haven't seen them in a long time. So when you get in on Monday, could you probably give them a call and see what we could do to schedule them for a medication review? Thanks. And then I hit close session because I don't have to do anything else because the app is going to take care of it for me.
Hello, this is the office of Athenahealth test office returning your call. A patient at this phone number contacted us with a medical issue. We are calling back now with the doctor's answer. If you are the patient or a HIPAA authorized individual, press 1. To place this, Athenahealth test office has the following information for you. You can repeat this information at any time by pressing 1. Please listen to the entire message. This message has 2 parts. Part 1. The doctor has prescribed the following medicine. Advil 200 milligrams tablet. Daily. The prescription has been sent to the pharmacy. CVS, pharmacy number 9607. Located at 901 Silver Spur Road. Please call the pharmacy to confirm it is ready at 310-377-6745. Part 2. I sent in a refill, but we haven't seen you in over 6 months, so please schedule a time to come in for a medication review. Press 1 to repeat this information. Press 2 to confirm you have heard this message. Do you wish to start a new session with the doctor for another issue? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
So you get your CallMyDoc number. Patients call in, identify themselves with their date of birth. That way, when the doctor gets the call on their app, they know exactly what's going on, and then they can have the app call them back or call the patient back directly or any combination of that. Now, this piece here is what we call the admin panel. Now, I'll show you what this looks like in Athena in just a minute, but I'm going to start here because there's more information we can put into this than we can put into a patient case. However, you can work most of these calls just by using the patient cases. So if I want to, but I'm going to show you a feature of how we coordinate between here and the patient cases. So if I click on request, I can read what the patient said and play it. What this is going to do now is response is a summary of the actions the doctor took when they were on call with the patient. And then the session log is a detailed log of what number did they call from, what date of birth did they put in, they verified that they're the HIPAA authorized person that's communicating, etc., what time the doctor got the call, the doctor sent a message back to the patient heard the message, at what time, etc., etc. And as I said, this also created a patient case. So what I'm going to do here is, because it just says this, I'm going to put a note here. In other words, if you have more than one person working this, you may want to put a note here. And you may want to put a note here if they're working it from this side for 2 reasons. First of all, when you log into this, you can see I'm working on it. Second of all, it just put that note back on that patient's chart. On that patient case. So if I go back into Athena now, let's have a look at what it did. So I could take the patient case ID number, put it directly into document search so I can go right to it, which is another reason why we put it in the log. Again, most of the calls are going to be from existing patients, and therefore you just work the patient cases like you normally would. But I wanted to show you this. You see how I put a note at the top there saying I'm working on it?
Yeah.
That way, if people are working the same patient case, they don't double work the same thing. So you can see, okay, Carl's already working on this from the dashboard. I don't need to work on it. Now, you remember when I called in at the beginning, right? And I said we can map their questions. We'll map their questions into these different categories. So if I have a scheduling request, it's going to go as administrative. Or a clinical question. I don't know why that keeps doing that. But we'll map it into these different types of questions. The other thing is we always take the patient's phone number down, because you've been seeing a patient for a while. They change phone numbers, they don't even tell you. Or there's so many times the phone number they're calling from has nothing to do with their chart. That's why we always take down the callback number.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what could have happened is it just did this transcription and stayed here. In other words, it could have been a billing question. It could have been some other type of question that doesn't have to deal with the doctor. Therefore, you just work it and take care of it, do whatever it says. However, the doctor worked on this one from the app. So we've got this information. And then the key thing down here is the note, right? So I need to schedule this patient. So let's say I schedule the patient, I hit view actions, I hit close. Come on, what are we doing here? Whatever. I'm just going to click whatever I can click on because the screen's acting weird for a second. What are you doing? Come on. Let's try it again. Oh, there we go. Score. Hopefully. Yep. Okay, so I close out this patient case, right? Well, what that's going to do is that we synchronize between the patient case and the CallMyDoc dashboard every 5 minutes or so. Athena won't let us do it any faster than that, but closing a patient case is the same thing as if I clicked on this archive button, because we don't delete anything, we keep it forever. So clicking on archive is the same thing as closing a patient case. Or if I archive it from here, it will also close the patient case. But here's the point. When the patient case is closed or when it's archived, everything about that call just went back to their chart under other documents, phone message, and there we go. So it's got a summary at the top and a detail at the bottom. And Athena doesn't yet allow you to attach a voicemail to a patient chart, but we've kind of done it because you click on View Original Image. All these blue lines in that PDF file become hot links back to the original recording. What this is going to do now is everything. So you can play it from inside the chart or do whatever you need to do with it, but it's always going to be there, period.
Okay.
So what you wind up with is again, this isn't our system. This is my screen is acting strange and slow for some reason. I have no idea why. Anyways, you wind up with a dashboard of everything that's going on, like visual voicemail for patients. In other words, if it can't get answered by a live person, it's going to be here. So, for instance, a side benefit or a system is if a patient calls you up and says, I called you 3 times on Tuesday, and the person didn't pick it up, and it's not here, they didn't call 3 times on Tuesday, okay? This just can't happen, period. The other thing is that, remember, we map these things out into different categories. So this doesn't replace your dashboard for patient cases on Athena. This is just another way to look at the same information. Now, you'll notice there's no box here that says refill. There's no box here that says billing, because there isn't a question of that nature in the system. So, like, if it was my job to take care of medication questions, I click on that box, and again, I got all the patient information here. The only thing you may have to work the dashboard for is something to do like this. For instance, this could be Aetna calling in about an MPI number, or it could be a brand new patient who doesn't have a date of birth in the system. So someone still has to pay attention to those. And the same thing on these doctor or hospital calls. This may or may not be connected to a specific patient chart. Now, you can map it back to a specific patient chart with this function. And then you would just look up the patient information. If I click on this plus sign, that's going to associate it with that patient's chart and create a patient case. I'm not going to do it because this is a live system, but there you go. The other thing that people find really useful is, let's say that the doctor's not in the office for some reason. Okay, so I hit this plus sign. Let me get the phone out of the way. I could push any call type I want to the doctor's app. So let's say there's an emergency or something about a particular patient. Well, I click on select patient. Let's look up the patient's chart. Hit search. Click on plus sign. I don't want them to call the patient. I mean, I could, but I don't want them to. I want them to call, let's say some other phone number. Oops. I click on the doctor on a page, hit save.
You have a patient call.
Here we go. So now I'm at the hospital or I'm someplace else. I'm not in the office. You're not sure where I'm at. So I click on this. By the way, those little notifications you see there, those are what's going to pop up during the day if he also uses during the day. So when I click on this, I got to open my app. Oops. There we go. And again, I got a photo and a name, so I click on that, see what's up. This message came from the office.
Carl Silva, this patient was just admitted to Torrance Memorial. Can you call us and ask for room 710?
Swipe the screen, hit take session. Now, let's say I hit this phone icon and call this number back and ask for room 710. Well, I don't know what number that's connected to, but I'm not going to call it right now, but just assume that I did. You know, I hit the callback function and all the other stuff that we're talking about. And I finished the call with the hospital, and I want to leave you a note. I spoke with the admitting doctor, and we need to have this patient come in for an abdominal ultrasound on Tuesday. Could you please schedule them? Right, and then I'm done. I hit close session. Well, here's me back in the office. There's the note about the emergency that needed to be dealt with. And then I handle it and click on archive. Close out that patient case and archive it, and I'm done. I could go on, but what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I know Dr. Malik will want to know the cost.
Oh, how many providers do you have?
Just one. He's the one that's going to use it.
Great. $109.99 per month covers using it during the day, after hours, 24 hours a day, month to month, and that's it.
And if he adds a provider, which would basically be just one more?
$39.99. And if you want to try it out, it doesn't cost anything. We give you a 30-day free trial. We do not charge a setup fee or customization or consulting fee. And during the 30 days, you and I could fine-tune it to make sure it's perfect for during the day or after hours or both. And then that's the pricing if you decide to keep it. There's no long-term contract. It's month to month. You can cancel at any time with no penalties. And it's that simple. So in order to get rolling, it's pretty simple. You just fill this form out, and then Athena in a day or so would send us both an email, and we could set the system up for you that you just saw in half an hour to 45 minutes.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I will run it by him and let him know that we did the demo today and the cost, and we'll get back to you. It probably won't be till the end of next week, just because I'm out of town, and then catching him is sometimes impossible.
That's fine. That's fine. I you know, whatever you want to do, or if you need any more information, etc., happy to do it. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, it's extremely helpful if you're using it during the day or after hours, period, because it cuts down on a huge amount of work. It reduces a lot of confusion, and it makes it easy to track everything that's going on all the time, you know?
Right, yeah.
Okie dokie.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate it. And like I said, just let me know if you need anything else, okay?
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.